Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper. This is the woodshed. We're doing an experiment. I'm gonna see if this much wood is enough to get us through the winter or not. So right now it's October 29th, 2021. It's been cold for a minute, but we haven't fired up the stove yet. I'm about to fire up the wood stove today. And this is what we're starting with. I'll obviously have to move some of my gar at some point, but I want to know kind of how it works. And if this is enough just kind of on a regular year to get us through, or if we're going to need more than this. Obviously temperatures fluctuate, you know, we might add on to the mobile home. Other things could happen, but I'm just trying to get a good gauge. I'm planning on making another one of these or something very similar here very soon. I'm not sure, but just wanted to only use from here and see exactly how much wood we use in a year. Are you ready for the wood stove to be fired up?
Yes, sir.
Do you like that? That nice dry heat?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about those gar?
They are pretty cool.
Yeah. Just some poor man's taxidermy. He caught this one here. That's his biggest ever. That's my biggest ever. Fun to reel in, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's get our first batch of wood and we'll fire this thing up. And pretty much I'm gonna upload these videos to my members and just kind of keep them there and then compile them together in one video. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like a monthly update on how much is gone or just kind of, I don't know, but I'll do some sort of documentation that by spring when we shut it off for the year, I really want to see how much we've used. That's the hole this first load in the house is gonna make. We'll see. And then just for backup, you know, if I run through that, I'll know I'm getting down. I've got a pile over there that's ready to go. And like I said, I'll probably be making another one. I'm hoping this makes it through, but I don't know yet. So I've got a plan for the future just in case it doesn't work. I got a pretty good base here ready to go. The problem is I was using some mail as the paper. It's not quite where I want it to be. A little bit of drier lint though goes a long way in starting a fire. It's one of my favorite tinders. Usually light a bit and then just toss in some little pieces just to kind of keep it going around that area. But that should be all I need to do. Got a pretty good draw going up there. Last year when we lit ours, we kept it going for months. Just kept stoking it, adding fuel to it. Worked really good. So by the end of November, this is where we wound up. Can you run over there, boy?
Yeah.
Whose job is it to get the wood every day? Yours?
Yeah.
What are all these ones doing on the ground then?
These ones are for me that's dropping us. There was a log that dropped out that. And
Yeah.
got dropped out.
And if some of this tipped on you, could it hurt you?
Yeah.
So what do we do every day?
We keep it here.
Keep it here. We make sure you have a helper, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some of that stuff down too, because we just kind of packed it in. But so far not too bad. We haven't even used one layer back of this thing, and I'm not sure how many layers are there. We're barely into the winter, for real. I don't think it's, legally even winter on the calendar yet, but we're doing really good with our supply so far. What do you think, darling? Are we gonna make it through the whole winter on what's in this thing?
I sure hope so.
I think we're going to. I don't think there's any way we really couldn't. So I'm hoping that's like more than a year's supply. I'd be surprised if it was 2 years, but I'd like it to be more than a year's supply. And we'll keep testing.
We're sure doing good with our heat in the house. I mean, it's really heating up all the way to our room, too.
And we shut off the regular heater a while ago. We haven't had that on in probably about a month. So yeah, so far this experiment's going well. We'll see you at the end of the year. Well, here we come. The end of the year anyway. This is going to be where we're at the end of December. So I'm going to bring down some more from the top there. Because this guy, what's your job again?
Take the wood in.
To take the wood. So he comes out with his big brother, and then every day they get wood and they bring it in so that we got wood for the fire. If this was up here, we'd be about one, or this was 2 rows, I think, the way that we had it. Yeah. Oh, we had 1 row and then some stuff laid in there sideways, but we got rid of the first row and maybe about a third of the next one. What's going on, Shiva? How you doing? We just made a puppy video about you. Finally, first video in a year. But with the fact that it's now December and we got all that stuff still in there, and I'll measure this and do the calculations on how many cords or whatever that would be. This is pretty awesome. And these guys, hey sheep, they've been having a little bit of hay and stuff that we were keeping in here to keep it dry, so that's where that debris comes from. But so far I'm extremely optimistic that if this is full, it would be better than anything, than what we would need on a yearly basis. Sorry, the dog's distracting me right now. Shiva, don't eat that. Well, Bug, do you think this is gonna last us through the year?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I do. And I'll tell you what too, having a nice dry wood in a woodshed, you can see some of the stuff like has mushrooms on it and other things. I mean, it was sitting out for a while, for sure. But now we've got it tucked away in here. It's so nice and dry and it burns so well. And I think I'll just probably refill it for next year, when I get to the end of my season. We've got a lot of stuff we got to work through too. So I might actually make multiple wood sheds. That stuff's covered in barn tin, but that's all wood that can be burned. If I let it rot, it'll disappear. Well, there we are, end of December, December 31st right now. Not bad. The end of January, January 31st. Let's take a look. Well, we got an idea here. Looks like I'm thinking it's 2 rows. 2 rows back there, plus this row, and this part here could stick up into there. So we have 3 rows heading to the back. There was probably 3 rows here. I think we're gonna make it. And ultimately I consider February to be the coldest month of winter. And part of that, I guess, if you did it, if summer's where it's hot and winter's where it's cold, and winter doesn't start till December 21st, then December 21st to January 21st would be the first month of winter. So you'd expect the coldest one to be from January 21st to February 21st, so the end of January through the majority of February, and that would make sense. I'm thinking we're actually going to do it. I was hoping so, but I wasn't sure. If there's some stuff left at the end of the year, I'll probably take some of my driveway stuff that's been sitting here, I think since 2017. I got it kind of covered, but I want to keep that dry and I want to use it, so got a pile here and a pile down there. We'll get that in here to refill it, and then I'm going to build another one too. I don't want to lose this dogwood tree here just because they're pretty, but I was thinking next to it would be a good place, otherwise maybe off one of the other sides. I want it close enough to the house that makes sense, but not exactly to be an eyesore out front. So end of January, I think. I was getting worried just because of how quickly we were going through it right now as it gets colder. But when I see what's left, I think we got it. I think this is a year's supply for us, or a year's supply. I'll see at the end of February. We'll see how we do. What do you guys think? Will February kill us, or will we make it through? Will it remove my supply, or do we got it? Let me know. Right now we have made it to the end of February. This is the last day of February. I had a friend over just the other day who wanted just to kind of check. And he wanted to check exactly how much wood I could fit in here. So he measured it out, and it turns out I can fit just a tiny hair over 3 cords in here. So if I have 3 cords of firewood, I'm thinking on a average, or whatever, winter, I should have enough for the winter. One thing he also pointed out is I was talking about putting another one somewhere, and I was considering adding on to this one to make another woodshed. And he shared a story with somebody he knows from his life who had all their firewood in one place, and a fire caught, and they lost all their firewood because obviously there was a lot of really good, really dry fuel right there, and they lost it all. Where if I store some here and have some in another location, as I think about progressing with my life goals this year and making at least one more woodshed, that's going to be better for me to have it in a different location. Now I know that. But let's see at the end of February what we got left. And here's what we got. I think originally we had 6 rows. So we had like a row 1, 2, 3, and I think there was a little extra. But you see we have 3 now. 1, 2, 3, and that's the back wall. It's open over there. If you add those together, it's, even less than 2 rows left. So we're more than 2/3 of the way through this entire thing. Oh, I know what I did. I screwed in some gar after the fact, and I had longer screws. I was trying to figure out why would I do that in here. But I've got, just under 1/3 left. And today's a nice sunny day. It's probably in the 60s is what it feels like out here. But we're doing good. I wasn't sure how this experiment was going to work, and I've still got maybe a month that we'll probably be running the wood stove on and off. So this video will probably come out after the end of March. But I'm thinking this is a good amount. Now, one cool thing is that as I try to fill this again, I've got a lot of stuff right there that I can start cutting up and putting in here. That's going to be good. And just refill this thing. And then I'm thinking between the garden and like my rabbit tree area, I think that's where I'm going to put the next one. Should work. I think I'm going to build one right over there, which will be good. But good to have that firewood on hand. Good to have it getting seasoned ahead of time, making sure it's real nice and dry. And then, yeah, good to have the wood stove to heat with. So I'm liking this. What a great experiment. I think we're going to make it. Don't you guys? Let me know. It is now the beginning of April. This here is the woodshed. What do you think? Is there still stuff in there or not? We were just using it like 2 nights ago, but I'm calling this the year. And the reason I'm doing that is we're not going to use all that up. So this year, this woodshed successfully got us through the winter. Let's take a closer look at what we got in here. We got some nice hickory, which has kind of been overlooked right now. It was a little long, that's fine. I want to have that for the smoker. Once I build that, and then we've got all this. If I stacked it all up, it'd probably almost fill in the back row, which is awesome. This was enough to get us through the winter. It was a success. And now I know that if the winters are like this or milder, I'm gonna have enough in here. And if they're a little bit more crazy, a little bit more colder or longer, then I'll need more. But I'm so happy to do this experiment. I'm so happy to sit there and be like, I built a woodshed. Okay, I got in the wood stove. Okay, how do they work together? How much do I need? What do I need to heat my home? Now, we even had to turn the furnace on all this winter, which is awesome because our furnace, our hot water, and our cooking in the house, our stove and oven are all off of propane. The propane tank I have now, if I'm running all of those for every bath and shower, for the vast majority of meals that come warm, because we don't use a microwave, and then for keeping us warm in the winter, I can't make it through the winter on a propane tank, which means I cannot buy cheap in summer and have it through the winter and then buy cheap in summer again. I have to buy expensive in the winter because I can't make it through the winter if I'm running the furnace off the propane as well. So that wood stove, if you look, I've got wood. And there's smaller trees that are growing right now. And if I cut down some of the bigger trees, the smaller trees will continue to grow. And if I prune the branches back, there's more wood that can fall off and the tree's still there. I don't necessarily just kill trees to have firewood. You know, the forest is alive and living, and it recycles itself anyway. And if you take something out, something else grows into it. Nature abhors a vacuum. You're not going to have just a completely barren wasteland if you have the potential for life. Life is going to spring forth. It's going to come alive. It's going to do something. So, for instance, all this firewood, this is a bunch that Red Pepper brought up over here because she wanted a paying job so she could buy a bike. So she did some work, and I paid her. And then this is another heaping mound she put up here. You know, that's a 10-year-old girl. Look at some of these guys. I mean, that's a piece of wood. That's a 10-year-old girl bringing all this stuff over here and staging it to have ready so that when I'm done with my experiment, we can get that in. Also, my dad helped me in 2017 cut the driveway. All that stuff there is from then. Let's go take a look at it out there. But that stuff needs to get cut to length. Some of it will need to get split, and it needs to get in this woodshed or another one. Because I want to have more than a year's supply on hand. If I can work ahead and make a couple years worth of firewood, then I don't have to do it, you know, every year necessarily. This is the driveway we cut in. Pretty much where my gate was, the wood started and it came in thick, and then it worked back this way. All this stuff here has been sitting here since 2017 when we cut it down. So you got 2017 to 2018 would be one, 2019, 2020, 2021, now we're at 2020. It's 5 years old. But I've got metal on top of it to help it shed water, to help it not be so saturated. In fact, here you can see I only ran metal that far. If you see, this is all darker where it gets rained on. This stuff is better. Well, I want to get that stuff that's been pretty dry cut, split, and filled. And once I'm done filling this one, I want to build another one. When I build another one, I think I said it a couple months ago, maybe in this video, I'm going to put it in another location because I do not want something to happen where it catches fire and I burn down all of my firewood. That'd be terrible. That's a lot of fuel for a fire, but it's also a lot of work that went into it that I would completely miss out on because I had all my eggs in one basket, all my firewood in one area. This is the main woodshed. It's the first one we built. I want to build another one. I want to do some more. So this is awesome, guys. It was a great experiment. It took me months to do, but it was my first opportunity having the wood stove in for the whole, you know, winter, for the whole cold season. Now I know, even if I throw some wood in there another time or two, or even a bunch, I'm not gonna work through this. That's more than enough. So I have to start preparing for winter now because it's spring and winter will come. Every year it does that. So I'm gonna fill this back up and then I'm gonna move on to more. Wow, that is so awesome. I guess with 3 cord or less, I can make it through the winter. thankfully I can make my own firewood and I don't need to buy that. I like being a producer, not a consumer. We'll see you next time. Papa out.
Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Thumbs up. For real.
The cow head is good?
Yeah.
That's because you know.